Well, isn't this strange? What are we doing here? A Twitch and YouTube exclusive? I love gaming. I don't know if I've made that clear through the podcast, but I love gaming. So what I'm going to bring to you today is a review of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. A game flawed, yet still fun. So what I'm going to have for you here is some live gameplay of the zombie mode while I get into the review. We'll be discussing the campaign, the multiplayer, and the zombie mode. These three modes all make one complete but flawed package. And I guess the best place to start is the campaign. The campaign is in the latter half of the Cold War. And you play as Bell, a operative who works for Hudson. I can't remember his first name, but Hudson was from the original Black Ops from way back when. And there's a new character amongst all of them, named Adler. And you are also still joined by Mason, the protagonist from the first Black Ops, and Woods, your partner, also from the first Black Ops. So there's a bit of nostalgia going on here, not just for the 80s, but almost in general. Let's see here if I can fix my audio real quick. And, yep, seems I fixed it. There we go. And it's in the, as I had said, it's in the later end of the Cold War. I think the Soviet Union is much closer to failing, but the game doesn't really cover too much of the politics. It's really not even very important, the exact geopolitical situation that's going on. You do have a brief meeting at the very beginning with Reagan, who, is wonderfully rendered, and then also the voice acting is on point. Reagan is brought to life here in 2020. But as I was saying, the geopolitics are not necessarily as important as the cast of characters that you play with. There's several others beyond Hudson, Woods, and Mason, and Adler. There's a couple more. I think one of them's name is Parker, and the other is Larza, or Lazara, I think. And it's one of those globe-trotting CIA spy, Black Ops, hence the name, classified kind of Call of Duty game, where every mission you go on is undercover and redacted, classified information on a need-to-know basis. And, overall, I enjoyed the campaign, regardless of how short it is, which is incredibly short. I beat it in 2 sittings. I could have done one, but when I started playing it, it was pretty late. But it's probably the shortest Call of Duty campaign to come out. I can't really think of one that was shorter. I think even Modern Warfare 2 was a bit longer, and that was a short campaign as far as Call of Duty mission or campaigns go. Overall, the thing that I liked about this Call of Duty more than the others is that they did try to do a lot of things differently. And what I mean by that is that there's dialogue options for your character. Now, your character isn't voiced, which I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe they wanted to save money and rather recording all of that separate dialogue for one character. Everybody else has their dialogue trees. Adler, Hudson, Woods, everybody you interact with. But your character doesn't have a voice. He's, in fact, faceless. And the interesting thing I thought about the game is when you start it up, you do pick kind of a background for your character. You do choose a first and last name, although you usually go by your code name Bell. But you choose your background, set of skills. That was pretty interesting. In a lot of areas of this game, they do add a variety of RPG elements. It doesn't really go full-fledged, and to me, I think it has something to do with the yearly cycle. Black Ops 4 came out 2018, Modern Warfare 2019, and then Black Ops Cold War 2020. Now, Treyarch and its other, assistance studios such as Raven, High Moon. I don't know if Sledgehammer Games had anything to do with this one. I don't think they did. I might have seen their name in the credits. Raven is another one. A lot of studios worked on this game here specifically. And yeah, they basically had since 2018, after the release of Black Ops 4, they had that time to work on this game. And that's where I think it may have suffered, because it does try to do a lot of things differently and try to actually innovate this yearly cycled game, annually cycled. And it does it by adding these slight RPG elements into almost every game mode except for multiplayer. Multiplayer has always kind of had its progression system and all of that stuff, which most of it hasn't really changed. But as far as the story and zombies go, they did add a lot of RPG elements that I wasn't really quite expecting. But as far as the campaign goes, you pick you create your character. You don't really create the entire look. You do choose skin color, which arbitrary, pointless, especially if you can't see your character. And even the RPG elements sit in. You have a dialogue tree. There's you can actually choose what your character says, and it affects the story. And then there's also this, in between the missions, there's a home base where you can talk to all the other characters, get to know them better. You can look at evidence that you've been gathering for your next missions. And then there's also some Easter eggs that you can find in there that may unlock certain sections of there. I think there was only maybe 2, maybe even less, but definitely a very interesting change of pace, because most Call of Duty campaigns kind of just move you from mission to mission, cutscene, mission, cutscene, mission, cutscene, But this one kind of gives it a little bit of a break for you to just walk around and get to know your compatriots. My only gripe about it is that it's still it feels underdeveloped, is kind of the light way to put it. And I'm not sure if it is the time scale that kind of hurt the development of the campaign, especially with you can talk to your teammates and get to know them better, but it is very shallow. It's very shallow, and it's really only going to be fan service for those really dedicated to the Call of Duty genre. And I just it would have been cool if it was much more fleshed out. Another thing I can give them props for on the campaign is that they did try to do a lot of diversity in the levels. There's a lot more sneaking around, and there's actual stealth system that goes into some of the maps. And then also too, the maps are pretty diverse. The only thing is like I said, it's extremely short, and so a lot of missions aren't that long. And then the amount of missions, there's really not too many. I really think I probably could have beat the campaign in an easy 4 hours. And most Call of Duties, I think, since Modern Warfare have been about 6 hours. So yeah, this one is definitely on the lighter side. Although I think the real interesting thing is that they really tried to do so many different things in it. I just don't think that they actually fully fleshed out everything that they could have. And, another thing is that I had a gripe with is that the trailer that had come out, like the teaser trailer back when, which I had covered in an episode of TOX News with the Quartering, who was talking about it. Overall, the campaign ends in a sort of kind of the similar kind of ending that the original Black Ops did, and it meaning that it had a twist, a revelation, But overall, like, I just didn't really feel that invested because of the story elements itself being so shallow. That's like really the best way that I can put it. Getting to know your teammates, the story progressing through all the missions and all of that. It's just, even though they added all these things, it still feels as though the story wasn't fully fleshed out. And I kind of found myself at the end thinking, who cares? Especially even though it has, I think, three different endings depending on choices that you make. I still, just like my choice that I chose, I still didn't really find myself being very invested, even in the choice that I had made and the overall outcome that it had. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of spoiler here. So it's not too much, but, just, if you don't want any spoilers, fast forward until I say, let's talk about the multiplayer. So the story, revolves around Adler and Hudson and their team, doing counterintelligence and basically counter warfare to a supposed agent named Perseus, who is a supposed terrorist. And so that's kind of the whole crux of the whole story, is that you have to stop Perseus. You and your squad are the only ones who can stop Perseus, and Ronald Reagan has even given you as much of money that you need to stop Perseus. And to look at the story, I like stories for their like messaging and their, even sometimes their subliminals, their subtext. And Call of Duty does have like a little tiny subtext to it. And, everybody was thinking that this game was going to trigger so many people because of its edgy story talking about the East versus West, the capitalism versus communism shtick, and all of that. But the game doesn't really flesh out much of that. I think it mostly kind of feeds off of people's own biases, and then that follows through with what choice you end up making towards the end of the game. And and it's not to say that it's like a horrible story. I just found it to be surprisingly mediocre. And it's not, that in itself isn't necessarily a negative thing, because I wouldn't really expect a profound ending or profound message to come out of a Call of Duty game, especially with Modern Warfare taking the most obvious black versus white, good versus evil kind of story. And that's kind of what happens here. Even though, like, at some point it does try to question your morality and even your loyalty, overall it just didn't really hook me in with the investment to make me feel like the choice that I made had really any impact at all on my own opinion. And overall, like, this whole thing that you have to stop Perseus is because he's trying to set off a bunch of nukes, so millions of people's lives are in danger. So, like, again, you're kind of just reaching this level of black versus white, good versus evil, and it's pretty obvious who's good and it's really obvious who's evil. And so it's just like they tried to kind of blur that line, but it didn't do it well enough throughout the rest of the story for me to feel invested in making that choice, based off of the experience that I had gone through the story. It actually, the thing is that there's a later mission towards the end that really like formed my opinion, which made like the rest of the game towards that decision, made it kind of meaningless to make that decision. And I'm not sure if everybody felt that way when they made it to the end of the game, but I just felt that I wasn't very invested in whatever decision I made because I was stuck between not good versus evil. It was just this heroic versus villain, basically, which I guess is the same thing. But when you look at history or even people telling their own stories, is that usually when they tell their story, they're the hero of it. So I don't know. I enjoyed the gameplay because of its variety, especially one of the missions where you play as a Russian. He wasn't a general, but he was a Russian agent within the KGB, and you actually are inside the KGB headquarters, and that was one of the more interesting missions to me, especially because there was a lot of decisions to make, a lot of things to do, and a lot of optional tasks. So, like, if I feel that if they had more time, which I've kind of been arguing for a while now, that they should have just delayed the release of this game and continued to bolster what's that game called? Modern Warfare. Continuing to support Modern Warfare and pushing this back a year, I think the campaign probably would have done a lot better, and especially if they had the opportunity to flesh it out more. Just because it just felt everything about it felt so shallow. Even though they tried to add layers to the gameplay, even that still felt shallow, as if it was underdeveloped. But you know, you can still play it and enjoy the set pieces, enjoy the levels. The story is, it's all right. You know, I wouldn't expect anything more from Call of Duty than, you know, something of like kind of a Marvel movie, basically. And that's essentially the crutch of it, is that I'm a little lukewarm on it. I like that they tried to do different things and add elements from RPGs that really add some diversity to Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's been so monotonous and for so long because of its annual cycle, that I appreciate them trying to do things differently. It's just overall, it doesn't feel fleshed out enough to call it a great campaign. I can definitely call it good just because I did have fun, but it didn't make me think too hard, and honestly, it didn't challenge me either. So I like that they're trying new things, especially in the campaign, but I think that they need to start having these games with longer support, the ones that they release, so that the next game can have more time to develop. If they're going to keep going this single player route, otherwise, if it's going to continue to be annual, I would say just do the side modes, forget the campaign, and focus on multiplayer and the zombies or the Spec Ops missions, say from Modern Warfare. But, you know, with all that being said, campaign, it's all right. They tried new stuff, but it's all right. Now, oh shit. I just died, didn't I? Oof. It's kind of hard to review a game while playing it. I'm going to be honest. All right. Now, to talk about multiplayer. Whoop. Honestly, I think multiplayer might be the part where Call of Duty failed the hardest. Now, that's not to say it's bad. It's certainly not bad. It's just like the campaign, it's pretty shallow. I don't know how this game came out that shallow, but it is. And they took away a few things that were in Modern Warfare, which is like peeking through cover and then also mounting on cover, or mounting while you're prone so that you can get better aim assistance, less recoil. But they have kept it pretty simple by just having that kind of similar Call of Duty gunplay that we're used to. Let's see here. I gotta go turn on the... I can't wait to talk about zombies, because zombies is actually the best thing that they got. But the amount of guns that they have, the amount of maps, the amount of... yeah, it's mostly just guns and maps. That in itself seems pretty short compared to previous Call of Duty releases. And I think December 16th is when they're going to do Season 1, and they're adding 5 maps to the multiplayer. And that also brings me to the fact that the game modes are really short this time. They have a lot of base ones, and then there's like a couple new ones, very very few new ones. One of them being Fire Team, which has like 2 different modes in it, but I do not like Fire Team whatsoever. And it's usually made up of like a squad of 4 versus like 8 different teams. So it's like 8 different teams, squads of 4, and it's hectic as all hell. Giant maps, vehicle gameplay, but it's just not really... I found no enjoyment out of it, so I don't even touch it. Not that it's not something that... I'm not saying it doesn't belong in a Call of Duty game, it's just when I had played it, I did not enjoy it whatsoever. And so I am definitely just going to skip those modes entirely. I'm not interested in them whatsoever. The thing about it is, though, is that there is just regular modes otherwise. And the thing that really hurt me was that they don't have gunfight anymore. Gunfight was literally the most innovative and simplest mode that they added to Modern Warfare, but they didn't have it in this game. And the reason I suspect that is because they, again, the development cycle didn't allow them to make enough maps for it. Or even have, I guess, the gun algorithm and everything that goes into making sure that it all works. But that was probably the most one of the most unfortunate things, is that they couldn't even include that. The other modes, it's got team deathmatch. There's one that I enjoy a bit, which is VIP. That's kind of new, where you have to get a VIP to the extraction zone. It gives me kind of like Rainbow Six Siege vibes. And it's pretty fun. It can get down to the wire, and it's pretty intense. The other mode I think that is new is called Control. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm missing any modes here. I don't want to be unfair to the game, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then they have combined arms and combined arms domination, combined arms assault, and those are those game modes where you have 4 squads, or I mean mini squads made up of 4 people, and it's not enjoyable for me. It's a little way too hectic. I like the arena style that Call of Duty has built upon for ages. And of course they brought back Nuketown 24. Nuketown's here. It ain't going anywhere. But overall, I still enjoy the game. It's mainly because it's just very much Call of Duty. There really hasn't been too much changed to the multiplayer formula. I'm glad that they brought over the whole gun customization that was in Modern Warfare. That was definitely a plus for me. The wild cards that you get, it's kind of like an extra perk that can kind of change how your class shapes. That is definitely a bonus for me as well. And then they added a field upgrade, which is almost like what they had from previous Black Ops, where it's basically your superpower. And in this one, there's like proximity mines, a field mic, trophy system, assault pack, SAM turret, jammer, and gas mine. And so it's a lot more settled than, say, Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4, and it kind of fits in the time realm as well. And of course, they kept score streaks. I think the most interesting thing that I found about score streaks is that even though, say, you unlock your first one, which mine is the combat bow at 500 points, and then you die, you still continue to build points towards your second score streak. So your score streaks will continue to build regardless if you have died. It's more about just getting them in a string, and it adds into your score streaks. So that was actually nice, because the problem is like when people reach, say, the chopper gunner or the gunship and just start decimating the battlefield or the area, it makes it harder for other people to even get their score streaks up and kind of even the playing field. But here they allow the score streaks to continue to build, and it lets those players who are kind of struggling still get up to a point to maybe where they can turn over the battle. But like I said, here there's 5 assault rifles, 5 submachine guns, 4 tactical rifles, 3 light machine guns, and 3 snipers. This is extremely light, and the only thing I can guess is that we're going to get more guns through the battle pass. And I can't really applaud them for that, because a lot of people are going to actually pay money to get guns that should have just been included in the game. And I never bought a battle pass for Modern Warfare, but the thing is that I still unlocked those guns eventually, because they're kept on there, and you can beat challenges that will eventually unlock those guns. That's not necessarily the way that it should have been done. I am more still subscribed to the idea that we should have had original Modern Warfare, where you just play the game, you unlock the guns. Them keeping material back for battle passes is a business practice of our contemporary times that fucking suck. So the game loses a bit of points on the lack of guns that are probably going to be filled in from the battle pass, from basically from what am I trying to say, from microtransactions. But you know, of course, to try and keep the playing field leveled, of course you're going to be able to eventually unlock those guns either through challenges or as you progress through the battle pass ranking. So that you know, that's the multiplayer. There's not too many maps. I think it came out with 8, and then on this December 16th, a month after the game came out, they're gonna add 5 more maps. So again, the cycle seems like this game wasn't 100% complete, but they had a due date, and so they released it. Which brings me to my biggest gripe is that it has the option for split screen, but if for anybody who has tried, they know it does not work. The split screen for this game does not work. Now, we tried the day after it had come out. Me and my friends, we tried to play at I tried to play at my friend's house and we tried to get it on. We couldn't play the zombie mode. It was locked, it was turned off because it was not working. And then we tried to play in multiplayer, but every time we joined a multiplayer match, it just ruined our signal. It would glitch, it had bugs, and then we would usually lag out. So, and also too, like the resolution of the split screen is almost unforgivable. Like it still has 2 black margins on the side of the screen. Now you can try to alleviate that by going in the settings and setting on a vertical split screen rather than the horizontal, which the horizontal has the black margins on the side, but the vertical, it's still a little weird because I never really played like that. And we tried to see if that would actually let us play multiplayer split screen, but it did not. So I don't know how they got it working for Modern Warfare and had it working for an entire year on Modern Warfare. In fact, I think every Call of Duty has had this split screen since Black Ops. Modern Warfare 3 had it, yeah. Call of Duties have had split screen, and for some reason, this latest in 2020 supports ray tracing, but cannot support split screen. Modern Warfare has it. Modern Warfare has split screen and has been running it its entire cycle. This game can't even do it at launch, and we haven't tried since. I have no idea if it works at this point at the time of this, but that's a huge bummer. That's terrible. That is freaking I honestly, I kept telling my friend, like, they deserve as much criticism and fire as they can get for such a huge drop of a ball, because there's been so many Call of Duties that had it. It's been in a lot of shooters, and how can you release it with split screen when it doesn't work? Why not just say it's coming later? It was such a marvel to me, especially since there was a beta, and I don't know if the beta had tested it for sure. I can't say that it did because me and my friend had played on separate Xboxes, but it's just amazing to me that, you know, previous Call of Duties all have split screen, but this one just couldn't do it. Like, physically could not do it, even though the option is there. So that loses some major points on me. And like I said, I feel like this game I'm considering is just kind of mediocre. It's fun. It's a fun game. I play it, and I play it with my friend mostly. But overall, like, when you look at I don't know, the underlying of all of the game, it just seems so underdeveloped, and there was a bit more work to do before actually releasing it. So I'm really hoping that they take the time to just let this game develop over the next 2 years. Let Call of Duty take 1 year off from a release, and just let a full experience be developed by your 7 studios, Activision. Just let 7 studios work on a game for 2 years rather than 1. And let's see what happens. Let's see what developers are capable of doing when they just make a video game. Okay. That was my rant. And, you know, I'll talk about the multiplayer maps right now. Most of them really, really boring. Most of them are really boring. I enjoy Miami mainly because of its night scenery and its neon lights. And then Satellite, just because it has a little bit more diversity than the rest of the maps, which means like a giant, massive open area. That's really great for snipers and anybody just trying to camp in the boonies, but it also has like this really concentrated small area right next to the satellite crash, and those are my 2 favorite maps. The other ones I could take it or leave it. to be honest with you. I like Nuketown. I've always enjoyed Nuketown just because it's so quick to get into and quick to combat, you know, quick to gunplay. So Nuketown will always be a classic, and they gave it a little makeover. It looks like a bunch of hippies and ravers were partying at it, and I like it. I like it. But yeah, there's like 6 other maps, not including Nuketown, because Nuketown came after launch. But there's 6 other maps that I just like, you know, they get the job done, but there's really not anything that sticks out to me about them very much. And another thing that they took out was the ability to open doors and close them, which, you know, I found interesting in Modern Warfare. And I think the reason why they abolished the doors or the door opening is because of camping issues. So, I mean, that's fine. And, you know, I'm not really too attached to the doors as much as I was attached to actually getting in cover and being able to mount my weapon. That was something I wasn't too happy that they had gotten rid of, but I'll live. I'll live. Now, to get to the best part of this game, and it's what you've been watching, it's the zombies. The zombies are fucking fantastic. It's great. I like it. This is the first time I played it at my friend's. I couldn't help but say this is the best zombies that I have ever played. It's fun as hell. And the reason why it's fun is because this map is made to literally run around, so that you get hordes of zombies behind you and you can just turn around and blast their motherfucking faces off. It is so fun. I don't know how to describe it other than it is freaking fun to just like, and the one area that it's perfect in, I'll go into after this round. It's where that crashed airplane is, because you can literally run the zombies for a loop before you turn around and just start getting nothing but melon shots. And once you actually open up the entire map, it actually is pretty easy to survive if you use the entire map to run around. If you stay in one area, and as the rounds increase, you are going to eventually get cornered into like a small section of that area. But if you open up the entire map, you will have so many routes to escape that you may become unstoppable, especially if you unlock all the perks that you can unlock, which I think there's about 5 of them, because you've got Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speedy Cola, which is the reload, Stamina Up, and then there's one that I'm forgetting. Maybe there's only 4, actually. Yeah, I think there's only 4. Oh, man, I'm just murdering these zombies. Check it out. Just check it out. Yeah, but I'm gonna leave this area after this round. And so, yeah, which, you know, the colas are nothing new. That's been around since, ran out of ammo, which they added these little ammo boxes, which will fill up your entire magazine, because this zombies mode is more focused on getting as far as you can and giving you the resources to do so. Like, they added these items like finding rare Simtexes that you can add to your arsenal to fight against hordes of zombies. And they added here a crafting table where you can actually, after killing zombies and finding junk, you can make stun grenades, the stems, the monkey bomb. There's quite a bit to this game, and it's pretty ridiculous that the zombies mode is like, the more I play it, the more I actually find features to it every single time. Like last night, before I considered doing this very video, I found more mechanics to this zombie mode. Now, the shotgun is probably the most important thing to unlock, especially once you get down into the facility and unlock the Pack-a-Punch. The farthest I've made it on my own is to round 19. That's the farthest I've made it on my own. With my buddies, I made it to round 24, and it gets pretty hectic because they also added boss battles to this, where a giant mutant chases you around until you shoot him enough where he splits into 2 mutants, and then you have to kill both of those. And then once you kill both of those, they drop items that are, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't gotten that far in here, but there's like a master key card that one of them drops, and I'm not really sure what it does. But it's there. And then there's also like one thing that I found interesting too is that you enter this like ether in order to unlock the pack-a-punch, and the ether changes the map so that you can find the part for it. But also you can enter that ether even afterwards, and it just kind of changes the map a bit and allows a little bit more craziness to go on. I think also too, if you stay inside the ether and you hit the crystals that are around, you can eventually find a ray gun. So I've got some points now. I'm going to keep opening these so that I can eventually get a pack-a-punch. Now, I think I had said earlier that they added RPG elements to this game that, you know, honestly surprised me. And I'm speaking about this specifically because when you play zombies and you make certain rounds, you unlock like these purple shards, which are like experience points that you use to basically upgrade your character or even the items that your character uses. So as you can see in the left corner, I have a field upgrade that when I click it, there we go, it allows me to basically be invisible to the zombies for about 5 seconds. And see, I just ran right past them. And there's several versions of these, but as you unlock these purple shards per game, you can then take those and upgrade your field upgrade ability. So that in itself, I feel is kind of, you know, that's pretty cool because, you know, the more you play this zombie mode, the better you can use your equipment or upgrade your equipment. And it actually even goes as far as the gun damage is in itself. Like you can upgrade how much damage you do with submachine guns, shotguns, and then there's various other upgrades that aren't just damage related. There's recoil and there's reloading. It's all very different. And it's not even just for the guns. It's also for the colas. You can upgrade the colas that you use, and like the quick revive. If you have quick revive and then you upgrade it, you can then move 100. Like the first one, I believe, is your crawl speed when you're downed is 100% faster. So you know that could probably come in clutch in those situations where you're playing with your homies. You're downed and you can move really fast to try and get to them rather than them getting to you. And yeah, and they added that you're able to upgrade your guns, your field upgrades, and what was the other thing? And the colas in the same way as like items in your RPG or skill sets in RPGs. And I mean, I got to give them props because it was so much thicker than I thought. I would literally thought you just jump in this game, you grab the game mode, you grab the items that are in the game mode, and you use them as, you know, as long as this this session is active, and then you die and then you just retry again. But there's actual like progression for the zombie mode, and I think they did a great job in this mode specifically. Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like their entire development went into this zombie mode, and then everything else is like, all right, let's start working on the campaign. Okay, let's start working on the multiplayer. Multiplayer was probably the last thing worked on because it has the least amount of innovation compared to the other modes, or the least amount of changes since Modern Warfare. But the zombie mode also, so when you go and use the pack-a-punch, you can upgrade your gun the same way that pack-a-punches usually do, right? Which is you, I gotta turn on the terminals. Which is you get a stronger gun that it changes its ammo and allows it to do a lot more damage, and it helps you in the later rounds to fight the zombies as their health increases. But they also added ammo mods, so you get like in the same way as you get like the insta kill or the nuke. It's like a temporary item that pops up. You get this thing called bonus points, and every time you collect bonus points, it adds into the cache that every player can use. But it doesn't take, like, say I'm playing with 4 people and we have 25,000 points and I use some of the bonus points, it doesn't take away from everybody else's. It just takes away from my portion, mine, just my section of it, not my portion but my section of it. So it doesn't necessarily split the money. It collects the money for everybody, and then everybody gets to use it how they want to. And so when you go to the pack-a-punch, you can upgrade your weapon with, you know, the points that you have from killing zombies. But then you can also go to the ammo mods, spend the bonus points on getting like fire ammo or electric ammo, poison ammo, or stun ammo. Like that was fucking awesome. It just adds like that extra layer and allows you to do more damage to the zombies, especially as they become larger and larger and stronger hordes. So like again, that's just like another addition to it. And guess what? You can upgrade those with the purple shards that you get from playing the rounds of these games or the sessions of these games. And see right here, you have these purple things floating right there. I just collected a shard. Collected a shard. Sometimes they'll drop the ray gun, allegedly. You want to go through and collect these? I just collected an essence. They kept the zombie dogs, but they now have a bit of toxicity after they die, so you can't really run through the spot where they're dead. But as you can see right here, I'm in that ether realm, where one, you can find secrets, but two, you have to find the piece for the pack-a-punch for it to be activated. But also, it really even changes the way the zombies die, because if you shoot zombies in this world, it shoots them upwards as if gravity is reversed. I like being in this world simply because aesthetically it looks really good. Like, I kind of like the inside out of the colors. Like, the most colorful things in this section of the map are the plants and then the random crystals that you find also. But I gotta go get in that portal so I can get the pack-a-punch piece here and then return to my world. But after returning to my world, that's when the mutant unlocks and makes the game much harder. In fact, I'm actually gonna stay here for a little bit longer so I can have enough points for a pack-a-punch when we return to my realm. Oh man, that's if I don't die. Woof. Yeah, like aesthetically this looks really cool. And I can not stop praising this game for the... Oh no, am I going back right now? It looks like I'm going back, yeah. Okay, so even if I don't put the piece back in, the time eventually runs out and I go back. Interesting. I don't know if I kept the piece though. Well... Oh, kill enemies to reopen anomaly. Interesting. This has never happened to me before. Alright, so let's survive the round, get back in the anomaly, and then pack-a-punch this gun. I don't know if y'all will be here for it, because this is almost over. But, honestly, to me, the zombie mode doesn't justify a full purchase of this game. I would definitely say pick it up if it's on discount. If you didn't get Modern Warfare, then you can get it whenever you want. I just feel that for people who invested their time, effort, money into Modern Warfare, don't immediately appease Activision and reward them for the kind of behavior that they continue to do, which is kind of hurt game developers by forcing them to annually work on the same game over and over again. You know, Activision has oversaturated the market with its own game, and it doesn't really allow it to grow to the full potential that it could when you do just, you know, when you after launch support the game, which I think they should have done with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But here we are with Black Ops, and the best thing about it is the zombies. And for some people, it can get pretty boring to continually play zombies over and over again because you die and then you have to start from the beginning. But like I said, there's a lot to actually upgrade and unlock as you progress through the game. I did not know this room was here. Interesting. All right, let's keep going. So I got to go unlock the anomaly. Oh, shit. All right. Gotta go through the anomaly again. And so this time, apparently, I thought I could just kill all the zombies in there and then return to my world and get my pack-a-punch. But apparently, I only have a limited time. Ah! Alright, piece is entered and we're going back. Yep. That's how it works. So I honestly, and I can't wait to see what other maps are going to add to this. And that's because they said that the... What? I've never been in this area either. Oh, no. How do I get out? Oh, man. Ah! Okay, now I know where I am. What was I saying? Like all the zombie maps are actually going to be free. Previously, DLC exclusives, the zombie maps were. Now they're going to release every zombie map for free for everyone. Oh my god. Everyone who bought the game, of course, not just everyone in general. Ah, I got downed again. Ah, just let them walk away for a second. When you play solo, you're allowed one self-revive. Alright, there we go. Oh, I should have pack-a-punched my gun. Since I'm here. There we go. Yep. And yeah, I mean, if I was doing better at like actually moving throughout the map, I doubt they would have actually downed me, but I apparently I can't multitask, talk and play at the same time. And then yeah, right here you have this guy. It's called an arsenal, where you can upgrade weapons and armor. So, you know, adding just a level of gameplay that I'm really not used to in Call of Duty games. And none of it is really in the single player or the... Well, the single player had some, but none of it was in the multiplayer. It's mostly found in the single player, and the zombies is where they tried to make the most improvements. Which, in a lot of regards for the zombie mode, I think every improvement they have made is a success. As far as the single player goes, it could have been a success if they... I just wanted them to honestly spend more time fleshing out all of that story that we went through, because by the end of it, just didn't feel very invested. And I think the thing that I have played most is this zombie mode. It is definitely the thing that I have played the most. It still has the random box. It has the ether that changes up the level a little bit. It has these ammo boxes that kind of allow you to keep going on the streaks that you have, so that you're not reliant on a max ammo or finding the exact spot of the gun that you're using. And then they have all the upgrades that you can do on the equipment that you use in the game. See the stamina up right here. I'm sure I upgraded it in there before, but I'm not really sure exactly what upgrades I had to it. But there's 3 levels to each of them, and then you can also do it for your field upgrades, for your for weapons classes. It's pretty diverse in the zombie mode. So if they come out with more maps for this zombie mode, I don't even know if I'm going to touch multiplayer, especially since they don't have gunfight. For some reason, they don't have gunfight, and that is honestly my favorite mode from Modern Warfare. I've played that mode more than anything. The only other mode that I played a lot in Modern Warfare was Kill Confirmed, and that's not really saying much. The reason why I played that the most is because I hate camping. So Team Deathmatch gets on my nerves because people aren't running out there to get their tags and exposing themselves. They're just sitting in corners and all of that. But overall, I mean, you know, it's another Call of Duty release, so you just kind of expect what you expect and do what you have to do. If you've got Modern Warfare and you feel like another year when they could have expanded, like the thing that I wanted them to do with Modern Warfare was actually make it almost like a Halo Master Chief collection, where they added as many of the Modern Warfare maps as they could from Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. And, you know, just kept adding guns through the battle pass, characters, all of that. They could have just kept supporting the game in the way that they had for the past year. But now that season is coming to an end, and they're focusing on the seasons of Black Ops. So we'll see how this game develops itself. But I kind of hope that they do what I wanted them to do for Modern Warfare, which is hold back the release of next year's Call of Duty, give it another year, and just support this one. Add as many Black Ops maps as you can, or even add some World at War maps. Who cares, you know? But if anything, like, if you find this game discounted, the zombie mode is a well of fun gameplay. Like, see, I've turned them around, and now I can just turn around and just fucking spray my shotgun into a crowd of zombies. Just racking up points. And then if I don't like it, I just run. If it's too much, I just run. Oop. There's a zombie right there. You just run. That's it. You just run. And this is, yeah, and you can, there's so much of this map that you eventually open up that you can just really get out of the way of most zombies if they get too crowded. Especially if you go onto this plain wing right here, and you stand on the tip of it, it really centers in most of their movement and allows you to bunch them up before you run off into wherever you're going to go. So there is a bit of strategy too in these maps that you can kind of utilize the map to your benefit. So I mean, overall, zombies is the best thing about this game. The campaign tried some stuff, and I applaud them for that. Although I would hope that next time they give the development cycle more time so that they can fully flesh out the ideas that they tried to implement, because the game overall felt really shallow by the end of it. And also, like, the whole focus of, like, Hudson was talking about, like, oh, we need to protect the West. And it's just like, okay, well, so I have to look into my own biases to see if I actually give a shit about that. You know? You know? But then it's like, oh, he's going to set off all the nukes and it's going to kill millions of people. And it's like, okay, well, am I a bad person then to let millions of people die for someone else? It's just, I wasn't invested because the story wasn't fully fleshed out. Like, I don't even think they were very invested in the story. They just kind of had to put something together that was an excuse to travel across the globe and do undercover shit. But the zombie mode. The zombie mode is primo. It's great. I love it. And just for the zombie mode, I'm willing to give this game like a 6 out of 10. But now, that's it. That's the review. That's it. Hit me up in the comment section if you think differently. But I'm going to keep playing this until I die. So, do with what you want with that information. As you can see, the mutants here. Oh, shit. And the mutant really kind of fucks my jazz up. But with the upgraded shotgun from the Pack-a-Punch, it's much easier to kill him. And then the nuke also does about half damage on his health. Yep. And then once you do enough damage on him, he splits into two. Oh, there he goes. Split. Eh. Oh, God. Okay, one hit and I was already rocked. Yeah, with the stamina up, I run literal circles around them. Like, they can't even close to keep up. Alright, killed one of them. Is the other one dead? No, he's right there. Yep. Yeah, and see, it drops something called a key card. I don't even know what it does. And then there's a KGB videotape note. And I want to go upgrade my AK-74, but I feel like I'm going to get swamped when I go down here. But to be perfectly honest with you, you can't risk it if you want the gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Yep, that's the saying. That's what the saying is. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah, damn it. I got the biscuit, but then I got killed. Alright. Well, that's that. If you like, do that. If you don't, dislike. If you subscribe, cool. If you don't, cool. I want to do more video game stuff. This one was pretty jumbled because I was trying to play at the same time. Who does that? Who tries to play the game while reviewing it? That's ridiculous. It's really dumb. Alright, well, now the late review is done, it's time to go back to Cyberpunk. I hope y'all have a good one. Oh yeah,